So if you could propose just one policy, if you could just only advocate for a single policy to support young men, what would that policy be?
So it's a generous question. I'm spending a lot of time in DC because it's better to be lucky than good, Daniel. And right now, this topic is hot. And the data is so stark around how young men in America are struggling that a lot of, like Governors Newsom and Moore, who are the governors of the biggest state in the US, California, and an important state, Maryland, have said essentially that they're um, going to prioritize the struggles of young men and boys. And that would have been unthinkable for a government leader to single out young men just 5 years ago. If I had a magic wand, I would, in the United States, propose mandatory national service. If you look at levels of teen depression, there's a striking example of two countries that have a lack of young adult depression, and that is Singapore and Israel. And they both have mandatory national service. So Israel, regardless of what you think of their actions geopolitically, despite their existential threats, they have very low levels of teen and young adult depression. And I think it's because of mandatory national service. Singapore has the most religiously diverse country in the world, something like 220 religions. And they were fearful that a strong man or negative forces or an economic shock could weaponize these differences in religious beliefs to pit people, one Singaporean against another Singaporean. And so they have mandatory national service as well. I think there's a lot of young people, especially a lot of young men, that would really benefit from kind of the marination or seasoning of a structured 1 or 2 years serving in the agency of something bigger than themselves and having the opportunity to meet kids from different income classes, different from ethnicity, different backgrounds, different sexual orientations, and just see how many. I'm American, even though I'm living in London. To just see how many wonderful Americans there are that are more like them than they think are different based on their identity, and also begin to kind of mend some of the tearing at the fabric where people of my generation, half of us feel good about democracies and capitalism in America, and only 1 in 10 people your age